I also got to remember to unmute myself when I go live. This is the second time in a row that when I go live, I forget to unmute myself on the stream. But no, I was saying, I gotta say, this music is just, it's prime. It is absolute prime. I almost don't even want to shut it off, but I think I will. I'm gonna shut it off because we got a lot to cover tonight. How's it going, ladies and gents? Welcome back to TBZ After Hours podcast episode number 3. Can't believe we're still actually going to do this after years of people saying we should start a podcast and me being resistant to it. And here we are, episode number 3. Episode 2 on YouTube right now has almost, I want to say it's about 50 views, which of course sounds low for a channel, but given that this is kind of our out the door shot at this, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Anyways, joined tonight by none other than my man TBZ Basher, aka the best man at the wedding. What is happening, Basher? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm glad to be here.
It
I've
is,
always wanted to be part of a good podcast.
yeah, yeah. The mic is loud. My mic? Like, are you talking about on the stream? My mic is too loud? And I can tone myself down. You let me know. You let me know, Limitrix. You let me
You're
know.
saying the music's too loud.
Oh, the music. I read that as mic. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm gonna turn myself back up on the stream. Okay. Anyways, also for our audience, where are you streaming from tonight there, Basher?
I am streaming from the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom. That's right. Only person in this room here, this little chat room, who flew over how many hours was it? 10 hours? 8 hours?
About 10 hours, yeah.
who flew 10 hours to stand by my side at my wedding almost a year and a half, actually exactly a year and a half ago. Amazing. And
Yeah,
you're coming back here, what, in January? Well, coming back to the States?
I am. Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, when the GT series first started, if you remember like the original GT series, the one where we would take random, like almost GT Motorsport styled cars in the game. So like the Aston Martin Vantage GT12. Um, and we would race two races a night. It was always on a Friday night. We do two races. It was the one where like in one of them, I think it was the Corvette race. Jonathan was leading the whole race, and I literally made the last second pass to take the win, and he was like so mad. But anyways, I think if I remember correctly, when we were doing that, we would open up with a drink and what our drinks were, how we rated them. Well, if you remember, we were looking up the drinks from Sin City Bartender. We would try some of the drinks that he was suggesting, and we'd mix them up and give them a try and review them. Well, I went back to his Facebook page. He has a whole website now. So I did some searching. I was like, all right, we're getting closer to the holiday season. I normally am not one for let's get into Christmas before Thanksgiving's happened. However, he made a candy cane forest from Elf using peppermint vodka, vanilla vodka, white chocolate liqueur, red grenadine, and then either a half and half or milk or kind of like any milky type substance. Mixed it together. I don't know if the camera will pick it up all that well, but it's white and it's got red stripe in it. This thing is phenomenal. I am like 100% in the holiday season right now. Like this is I'm loving it. I am loving it. Got any good drinks that you've been having there, Basher?
Well, currently, right now, I'm drinking a classic beer. Um, but I
What
have
type?
been drinking currently some lager. I currently
Let's
got
go. All right.
that.
Okay. Okay. What you
But I
got?
have been drinking some Christmassy cocktails.
Ooh, okay. Let's hear it. What's in it?
So this one, so the one I've been having is a bit different one. It's called Partridge in a Pear Tree.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, so it's quite an interesting one.
How,
Um,
what
I'll
alcohols are in it?
get the exact ingredient. Yeah, I'll get. So it's got. Let me see if I can find it. The exact ingredients for it. So it uses champagne, but you can
Okay.
use prosecco in there, and it uses like a pear liqueur at the same time.
I'm here for it. I'm here. You know,
So it's
and it
it's
makes sense.
simple, but
Partridge
it's
Pear Tree. Yeah. No, I like that. And again, fits right in there with the holiday season. I think I'm gonna have to give that a shot. Now, for those of you who are in our audience who may not be of age to legally consume alcohol but would like to try some of these drinks, if you check out Sin City Bartender's website, which can be found on his um, Facebook page, go to his Facebook page, Sin City, all one word, Bartender, and click his links. He's got links directly to his website. You can search up most of his drinks, and just about every single one that he does, he has a mocktail as well. So a non-alcoholic version for you guys. It will taste very close to the same, but legal for those who are unable to drink the alcoholic beverages. So definitely give that guy a shout out because he's done some amazing work, come a long way. But tonight, our title is track talk. So, what kind of track talk are we going to be talking about? Up first is going to be naming and listing some of our favorite tracks in the game. I just lost my camera. Hold on. Don't switch. Give me my camera back. Oh my gosh. How funny is that? It's always some type of technical difficulty with let's see. Let's switch over to we're gonna do this. We're gonna get my entire background again. Oh, dang it, the camera's not going up. All right, hold on. There we go. Okay. Woo! Um, but anyway, so we're gonna go over some of our favorite tracks in Forza Horizon 5. We will talk about some of the track creation process kind of that came to us via Event Lab Island. And then we'll jump into the hot topic or what hot take subject of vanilla roads versus Skytracks. What is preferred? What is more enjoyed? And how does the competitive community utilize both for their scenes? And then what type of um what is it that I'm trying to think of? What type of tracks do we want to see come to FH6 in Japan? So let's kick it off with a favorite track. And if I'd have planned a lot more ahead of this, I would have been able to pull up some screenshots that I had for some of my favorite tracks in game. Now, as a track creator myself, obviously there's a lot of tracks in the game that I enjoy that I made. However, I am just non-stop baffled. And baffled, I think, has a negative connotation to it. I am just kind of stopped dead in my tracks when I get onto a track and the layout is great, and really for me, a layout doesn't matter too much, because even some of the greatest tracks are extremely simple. Um, but I would say it's the immersion factor and how that track handles that plays the biggest factor for me. And with that being said, in terms of a completely custom flat track creation, XR Cosworth in a lot of his creations has some of the best work out there. I know the boys, when we race on Thursdays and Wednesdays nights, one of our go-to tracks, hands down, is the Lodge Raceway. And if you have not raced that one in Forza Horizon 5, literally just type in the Lodge Raceway, and several different versions, several different track conditions will come up for you to practice or play on. Um, but the Lodge Raceway, something that just there's a little bit of lore behind it, but we won't go into the lore tonight because I go into that all the time. But every time we race it, it's so much fun. Lots of twists, lots of turns, several straight areas for trying to make catch ups and getting some high speeds. Um, and then the technical areas for passing and just good battles. So great track. XR Cosworth been making some great tracks for a while. His White Sands compilation that he put together was just phenomenal. um Now when it comes to tracks that have elevation change, Luna, um uh faulty Luna lamp, they just go by Luna, but still, the faulty Luna lamp makes probably the best, hand down. Um, we'll get to that in a second, Limitrix. I'll kind of like make that more clear what I mean by that. But but yeah, so I'd have to say Luna has got some. Now Subi does a great job, but Subi kind of, I don't want to say left, but Subi put a lot of tracks in the forefront of the game's life cycle and then kind of disappeared for a little while. In terms of current tracks, for me, Luna's come around. EM Linden, um, Rapids International Raceway. They just created one for a competition that was amazing, and then they've got another kind of NASCAR style track with a road course layout within it coming up soon. That I really can't wait to get our hands on and test it out. But those are some of my favorite. Basher, what do you got?
Um, I'm very biased here. I quite like, and obviously, I've raced it a couple of times during the GT series. I really liked racing the Silverstone and a lot of the custom actual racetracks as well.
Right, right. Okay, now you did a documentary on Silverstone, which,
Yes,
by the way, I watched the whole thing. Phenomenal. Loved it. That was a great. I watched it when you sent it to us. But great job on that one.
thank you.
What is it about the Silverstone layout that you think would make it just top notch? What makes it that you always see it on a playlist somewhere in terms of like, you know, GT World Series, GT Racing World Series, or GT European Cup, or anything like that? Silverstone always makes the cut. What is it about that track that you think gives it that always makes the cut kind of threshold?
I think it's mostly the history behind it and just the name itself.
Okay.
Like a lot of people kind of when they expect a racetrack in the UK, the only racetrack that really comes to mind is Silverstone. Obviously, there's lots of other tracks like Brands Hatch, Donington, but Silverstone is the name, and it's mostly famous because of Formula One.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now, because of that, every single racing event is wanting to race there because it brings people in around the world just to go to the track.
Right. Now, have you actually raced the track or at least been in a car going around the track?
I have.
What car?
So it was a sort of a two-seater Formula Four car. It was part of the experience thing that you can do.
Okay.
I did this when I was younger, so I wasn't old enough to drive the car. Um, but it was amazing. It was one of the best experiences ever.
Was there any part of Silverstone that from what you can remember from that experience, was there any part of Silverstone that you may have like clenched up? Like you're coming up maybe on Beckett's, what is it? Maggots and Beckett's on the back corner.
Yeah.
Were there any specific areas that like as you approached it you were like, ah,
Um, probably Maggots and Beckett's,
yeah.
just because it's such a fast but really windy section of the track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I even clench up. Well, I see it and I get worried when I see it in person when either the Formula One cars go round or the motorbikes go round. I always get like, oh, something's going to happen there. Nothing does, but it's that part of the track that you expect something to happen.
Right, right. That there's a right-hander. I don't know the names of the tracks or the names of the corners and sectors too well on that track, but it's the last right-hander before you enter into Maggots and Beckett's in the chapel area, but like that right-hander, it always seems so
Yeah.
much more deceiving than it actually is. You go like even in racing it in motorsport, Forza Motorsport, making that right-hander into it, I always just seem to over throttle. It's a lot you need to approach it a lot slower than it feels like you should. But then when you try and approach it a lot slower, the drivers around you are taking it faster and staying on the track and it's like, "What? What are you doing?"
I I don't know. It's one of the. It's a different. Some people can find just a really good line that just doesn't affect the grip levels as much.
Hmm.
But it's an interesting one. I'm just trying to think what corner it is. Oh, club.
Club corner. Yes,
I think it
yes,
is
yes.
club corner. That's the last corner heading towards Hamilton Street.
Hmm. Um,
Really great corner. It's an interesting one because you can go flat out on it, but I guess it's very much based on the grip level of the tarmac on the game.
Yeah, yeah, and well, in your tuning setup, but yeah. Um, So once again, we're talking about Silverstone, one of the favorites for Basher here. It's been recreated in Forza Horizon 5 by the XR Cosworth. An amazing track that he built early in the game's life cycle, and it's been used over and over again. It was used in season 1 and used in season 3 of our GT series. Just highly voted in track that everyone seems to like and creates a lot of good competition, good close battling. Um, but yeah, now before we move off of this topic, I see we got Lumitrex in audience as well, and Danby the man. So, are there either of you do either of you two guys have a track that you would like to make mention of? Lumitrix. Lumitrix, you are live. Let us know what you think.
Yo. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna right off the rip mention my home track, Utah Motorsport Campus slash Miller Motorsports Park slash Burt Brothers Motor Park. Um, and it's basically some people say it's a very European style of track, but I mean it's a whole bunch of dirt. But there's a lot of camber changes. There's a lot of high speed turns. Um, It's like a very good track for people who just want to, kind of enjoy their car, or if you want to try to see what you can do for lap times. The curbing is really big here, so that's just kind of like a first for what I'd like to throw, and that's really just it's like a mix. It's not my favorite track. I just wanted to throw it out there because it's a pretty under appreciated track. Second, I'd have to say Sakuba. I'm a big fan of Sakuba, probably one of my favorite tracks of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is like very short, it's just a good track for figuring out how your car can, um, I guess like how your car can handle on corner exits, because corner exits are a very big thing for that track.
Yeah,
And the straights, even if they are the majority of the track, they still require some finesse to it a little bit, if that makes sense.
right, right. So you're referencing Sugaba from Hoki Hoshi's recreation?
Oh, I thought we were talking about IRL. My bad.
Well,
Okay.
a little bit of both. We're relating it to the game and how the track creators have, created some fictional ones and recreated real ones and kind of what our favorites have been.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna be real. I mean, so Hoki's version is pretty good. Um, the thing is, you can tell it was one of those earlier maps. Like it was a map that was made during the earlier stages of Event Lab. There's another map that I found, and I can't remember the creator, but they called it Sakuba Attack, and it's made on Event Lab, but it's a very good representation of Sakuba.
Hmm,
It also feels incomplete because on some of the banked turns or the elevation changes, there's just like no grass on the outside of the track for some reason. But I mean, it's still in terms of distance, it's really good, or it's like pretty accurate.
right. Huh. Awesome. Well, thank you for your insight on that. Greatly
Yeah.
Yeah,
appreciate. All right. We're gonna head over to question or topic or discussion point number two, which is creator process. So I know that we have hey, speaking of creator process, we got Stray in the audience. Stray having created now two tracks that have made the PG editor's choice. Viewers, if you have not checked out Stray's tracks, definitely check PG Editor's Choice. He's there with Kiri and with is it Hoshimachi? I believe it is. You have to remind me. You can type in the chat, but I think it's Hoshimachi. street circuit. We raced that track 2 nights ago, live on stream, with Lumitrix. Help me out. How were you there? You probably weren't there. What did we rate? Oh, we did sports cars. So we did the Supra versus the Nissan Z versus the WRX. Um and we were having a battle to kind of see which of those three cars was really going to dominate. Spoiler, the WRX dominates. But we raced the street circuit, had a lot of fun. That was actually the only track that I won on. I barely beat out What Up Loser. But yeah. So on that note, we are entering into the discussion of track creating, the fine finesse detail that goes into it. And Stray, if you're up for being for speaking, I'd love to have you come on to the podcast and maybe explain to our viewers, and those who will be watching the podcast afterwards, um, how your track creation process goes down. So from start to finish, kind of like what's your thought process? How are you building these tracks? And if you're up for it. Also, I do see Racer Dan has requested. So give me a second. We'll bring Racer Dan on here because I know that he has done the same thing. He often creates a lot of good tracks. So I'll bring you on. And then Stray, you can let me know in chat if you'd be up for giving us a little insight. But let's see, Dan, I believe you're muted, but on your end. There you go.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
What you got for us?
Well, I mean, in terms of things like favorite tracks, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, going back to XR Cosworth, he's done a lot of fantastic work. I
I
mean,
will
we've
say
used his
you
tracks pretty extensively in our.
you can vote your
But
own track if you want to. If you want to boast one of your own tracks, there's no foul play there.
I don't think I'm quite at that level yet. But I mean, yeah, Cosworth, he's made some amazing tracks. Like we raced him in the GT series. We raced 4 of his tracks, no 3, in season 1 of the Pro Stock Cup. Yeah, he's one of the best track builders out there, hands down. And of course, Hokey, he also deserves a shout out. Like, for example, Bramble, knocked it out of the park with that. Wonderful track. I've had a lot of fun with it. And it's
Did
going
you?
to be race 8 in season 2 of the Pro Stock Cup, by the way.
Yeah. Did you know that Red Bramble is based off of a real track, but all the area that's outlying for the track is fictional. He just kind of added that in. I'm trying to remember the name of the real life track that he recreated it from. There's a YouTube
Yeah, I
video
did. I
out
saw
there.
his video on it when he first
Yeah,
announced it,
yep.
like a couple of
Um,
years ago.
so he recreated it, but the IRL track it's almost like the track out in Utah there, Lumitrix. It's very open. There's not a lot around the track to give it life. So it's just this open track. So he used his creativity and kind of interpretiveness and made the track lively. But yeah, the layout itself is a Minnesota track, I believe.
I'm not quite sure where it is.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going though.
But I know that would make sense because Hokey is from Minnesota.
Yes.
Now, as far as track building goes, that is a challenge in and of itself. Like, when you want to build a track, of course, you have to decide what you want to go for. Do you want to go for a lot of elevation? Do you want to go for back turns? Do you want to build flat track? And of course, how accurate do you want it to be to the real thing? Are you trying to go for an exact, close to 1-1 replica as possible? Or are you allowing yourself a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of creative freedom with it? Like, I build a lot of oval tracks, of course, for Pro Stock Cup or whatever else. And Talladega, that was a big undertaking for me for race one of the Pro Stock Cup. You guys know how big Talladega is. It is absolutely huge, 2.66 miles around. And even then, I think I did okay with it. There's still a few things that I would love to go back and rework with it, perhaps. I got how Event Lab goes going forward. I think in FH6 I will try and replicate it, but prop budget isn't. What am I trying to go for here? Prop budget is another big thing that you have to keep in mind for it. Like with bigger tracks, you're going to run into prop budget issues, no doubt about it. So it has to get to the point where you're like, do I want to spice it up? Do I want to make it look good? But do I want to make it, or do I want the performance to suffer? Or do I want to have a track that performs exceptionally but looks like crap? So you kind of have to try and strike a balance there in between, or else you're just going to hit the prop budget limit in no time, and you're like, well, what am I going to do now?
There was a track in Racing Haven Season 1, and I'm trying to remember exactly which one it was. The layout, oh, Green's Hell. Green's Hell. Um, he created that one for Racing Haven, and the track layout, the route that it takes is amazing. And for the time that he created it and the props that were given to him, it was nice. It was a nice looking track. But when you look at it now, and if you were to like go re-race it, you would definitely look at it and be like, holy cow, this seems like something I would have raced in FH1, just because it looks very bare bones now. I like at this point, now that we've come so far into the life of FH5 and we've seen what track creators can make, and we've seen, I mean, I pointed this out so many times. Subi 156 for Blue Lagoon Raceway took statues, flipped them upside down, and made the bottom square part of the statue into a checkered pattern to make the start finish line. Like, like that type of creativity is off the chain. So, um, I really, once creators started seeing like, holy cow, they like basically they started breaking down the four walls, and they were like, thinking outside the box, but then thinking outside of the box, outside of the box. Like they just came up with so many different manners in which they could utilize the props, and yet there are even some ways where they're utilizing the same prop multiple different ways so that they're not running through their prop budget, and yet they make these phenomenal tracks, which is kind of a great segue into getting Stray up here. So Stray, you'll have to raise your hand and then I can pull you up onto the um board here. But Stray, I have been examining your track. Where is it? On Hoshimachi. I've been examining how you built all of those um buildings. The buildings that surround it, like I will go into that track and I won't even race it. I'll just drive casually through it and go into photo mode and start pulling apart how you're building these tracks. So please, by all means, the floor is yours. Please walk us through your process because I am just begging for more.
Oh, okay. So that the city, honestly, it was really rushed through after I made the real part, like after the tunnel. Because in like the first like quarter mile of the track, like the first four turns, all those buildings around, they're all real. So I had to take like from Google Earth. I measured like the length and width of the building. They're actually like real one to one size. The roads are not because they're really thin roads I use
Hmm.
around it, but like I stretch them out wider so they could actually be like driven as a racetrack. You see, they're like And then like the entire statue, that's the mural of the anime character, not real, of course. So that's where like realism ends. And then from after, I just made Japanese like inspired like buildings. So just after that, it actually was like the quicker part because like I didn't have to like rely on real buildings to. You
Right.
see all the tall buildings in the main area. They're they're the real heights. They're real like just one-to-one buildings right there, and I made it as simple as I can to reduce
So
like
what
yeah.
props are you using to build those?
Okay, so like I'm using the main skyscraper problems for the most. I mean, they use big budget, but like they take away a lot. And then I'm also using like the 50 by 50 meter concrete, like the concrete just platform, which
Right.
is on the floor you see. And I just flip them over to where you see like the gray side of it instead of like the actual concrete part.
Mm.
So I could, which is like similar to most buildings. And I'm also using the highway, the underside of the highway parts, the 6 lane highway, the new one.
Yeah.
It's just that's the underside. So I could use them like each like little like support column is like I could sideways could be used as like windows. The
Bro.
like stories. So like I had
Jeez.
a lot of inspiration. I had a lot of inspiration from a friend who makes a lot of Japanese maps. His name is Hoso X Marin. I took a lot of inspiration from him
Okay. Okay.
because he uses a lot of that. Since like this is my first like ever like Japanese map or like just any city map in general that I
Right.
finished.
That
Like
is,
I
I mean,
don't make a lot of maps.
it's phenomenal. We had so much fun racing on it. You were asking, is the track great for fights? Yes. It was, there is an area where the turn threw people off. It didn't look, um, Gingerman Raceway in Michigan. Thank you. That was it. Gingerman Raceway in Michigan. Thank you, Raiden. Appreciate
Wait,
that.
which turn is this?
That is what Red Bramble is built off of after Gingerman Raceway.
Mm,
But what was I speaking? Oh, the battles we were having. So
yeah,
there's a turn kind of when the highway or the roadway opens up really, really wide. And you can easily miss the checkpoint if you go too quickly through or you don't anticipate the
we got
turn.
too wide. Like
Yeah, it's
after
that
the
wide
S thing,
right-hander. Yes.
yeah, it
We
looks really wide turn, but it catches off. It's a
Yep.
lot sharper than what people think.
And I mean, that works perfectly because it forces you to have to let off throttle just slightly to regain your car to like get the front end to swing. So that was really good. And then Loser had ended up missing a checkpoint at the start. And so he was at the back, and it literally took him all 4 laps to catch up, and he only clipped my rear bumper before the end of the race. He didn't manage to pass me, but he clipped it. Um, I'll release it as a short here on our YouTube in a little bit, but it was it
Yeah,
was
I made this like
definitely it was definitely one of our greatest races on that track. So yes, it is really good for battling. I will say this. I will say this because I know a lot of people, especially the ones who show up to the streams, like to be able to have a little inside information. It is on the short list right now for GT Series Season 4. The
right.
city
I
track
make
is. So
many of my layout. Okay,
so
like, many of
um
my. Okay, sorry.
go for it, go for it.
I was just gonna talk about a lot of my making process. Like
Oh yeah, go
it's so
for it.
good. Keep talking. Like I design my layouts heavily off F1 guidelines. Have, honestly, like what the good F1 tracks I base them on. not like Sochi or some shit. Like the measurement. I I know how long like the roads, like how wide every road is. Like you could flip them over and then be like grids on the back of like each of them be like 2 meters wide each grid, and there's six of them. So the roads they give us is 12 meters wide. I feel like that's not like known enough. Like the measure, like, there's not a good measurement system for the event. It's kind of
Right.
makes it really difficult for recreations. Like it's gonna be difficult for many. Like I was very impressed by Hokahoshi's Tsukuba circuit. Like how he made it in a week as well. Like these tracks take me long. These tracks, like Postmaster circuit, that took me a month, and that was actually my quickest time. It took to build a good event lab polish. That's it. Because Curious circuit that took 2 months, and another circuit before that took like 3 months. And I'm getting faster, but it's it's difficult, especially being stuck at focusing. I can't focus if my life depended on it.
I know that
But
Vasher came out to my he came out to my house for my wedding. He came out the third week in March of 2023. And I didn't end up getting Boisington Park Speedway completed, which Boisington is just a recreation of Donington Park. I didn't end up getting that completed for another 4 or 5 months after he came out. So it all started because he came out one day, or when it came out one day, he came out and we were hanging out on my Xbox. I was like, all right, if I were to build another track, what track should I build? And he was like, you should totally do Donington. I was like, all right, sweet deal. So like we started that night. We literally just started putting the layout together. Ended up erasing the layout several times, going back and rebuilding it several times. Um, but the total time to build that track took over 4 to 5 months. So I completely understand there can be a lot of frustration because you get so far into it and then you go to like test out, I don't know, say the half mile that you just spent 3 hours building, you go to test it out and it doesn't drive smoothly. And you're like, oh my gosh. So you just like quit out and you'll come back to it later, but you don't want to go back to it the next day either. And you just like leave it as a project that you'll just come back to. But yeah, no, I get that.
yeah, I have some projects that are just like left in the dust for like years. Like I'm because like my standards have changed, so like I just don't want to come back to that. I'd just rather start fresh new.
Right?
Like
I mean,
I have, yeah,
I've got 3 tracks under construction right now. I've got one that's like it's kind of in replicating, not it's not even replicating, it's just taking inspiration from Bahrain. Um and then I've got a Barber Motorsport Park version 2 coming out that's actually going to have proper elevation change, banked corners, uh spec accurate measuring and all of that. And then I've got one that I was just kind of like, I really want to do a city style racetrack. So I started like kind of testing the waters with that, which is why I was asking about your buildings, what you use to build your buildings with. So,
but yeah.
what about you, Basher? We haven't cut back over to you. You were for a while, I remember you were going to try and rebuild Brands Hatch.
Yes, I tried to. um, I was about to say that I've got mad respect for track races because I don't know how I've got the time or the patience to be building these tracks because I spent 3 or 4 hours, something like that, trying to create the first corner of Brands Hatch and completely just gave up. It didn't end
Well,
very well, but I've got a task at hand at the moment that I'm thinking of doing. I want to recreate Monaco.
Ooh, that's gonna be quite difficult. All the buildings and stuff. Wait, are you gonna do? Are you gonna be as detailed with the buildings or try to?
I think I'm going to focus more on the track first, and then think about getting some of the buildings in.
I see. That's how I usually work as well. I usually just lay out first, and then like, which takes some time. But the road's got to be perfect before you place anything down, in my opinion. So that's the
Exactly.
Yeah, I know I interviewed once Cosworth. I'd interviewed Cosworth once and asked him like what his process was. He said he puts because he doesn't use prefabs, which is insane to me because prefabs have sped things up for me a lot. But he lays the track down, just the track pieces, no white lines, nothing. Lays the track down
Oh, me
all the
too.
way. He gets all of the layouts that he potentially might want to use, like for white sands. He put all of the layouts down first. Then he goes back and adds the white lines, but simultaneously, as he's adding the white lines, he puts his curbing in. Once he has all of that done, then he goes and puts um, the outside of the track in. So whether it's a dirt runoff or just the grass siding of the track, or wherever the area may be, pit lane, like a pit road and all of that. Once all of that's complete, then he does the walls, and while he's building the walls, does not do anything exterior of like no buildings, no grandstands, no nothing. Just purely puts the walls in. Then when he goes back and adds buildings, grandstands, and any external features to the track, he'll adjust the walls as needed when he's, in that sector. But that process is one that I will use loosely, but I use my own personal prefabs, one that I know I don't have to worry about floating track pieces. Um, and that's kind of how I build my tracks now. So it's a really, really good process. Sometimes if I get really annoyed with like laying down wall after wall after wall after wall after wall after wall, I will go in and like work a sector and just kind of like build it. I would be like, in this sector, I want 3 buildings and the grandstand area over here. And like, I'll just kind of build that sector, then go back to building the walls because it's just so boring. But um, as we're coming around, about 15 minutes left in the podcast for this episode, we'll kind of transition this towards a look into the future, plus answer the age-old question, which, by the way, our answers are not definitive, so these are totally um, up to interpretation and definitely hot takes. But what is your guys' preferred racing surface? Asphalt, vanilla roads, or concrete platforms? Vasher, over to you first.
I think I prefer to race on vanilla roads.
What's your reasoning?
I think I'm just a bit more used to them when I know the grip. I know what sort of grip I've got, so I can sort of expect the unexpected as such.
Okay, that's
Because
fair.
the asphalt tracks, and especially the concrete ones, I don't race a lot of tracks with that, so I feel like if I lose a bit of grip, I might not know exactly what to do or how much counter steer I need to do.
Okay, that's fair. Stray, what's your preferred racing surface?
I think I'd agree with Basher with this one because like it is just way more superior. The the road is like, I mean, as much as I love building with the asphalt, the new asphalt, man, the grip level of just the regular road is just way more better. Like it's, you just cannot deny that. It's like there's just always some random bumps somehow they manage, the roads manage to have. I don't know. like as much as I try to make my road as smooth as possible, like there will be some sort of bump. I mean, I'm trying my best to prevent those bumps, but like when I try to like race on other like elevation heavy maps, I just notice it immediately,
Mm-hmm.
especially with a steering wheel. I have a sim wheel, and I could like notice every single bump, and it's like, I mean,
Well,
with the steering wheel, it's actually easier to drive on these bumps, but like, damn, there's so much bumps on this. Like, I could just notice it. Like, it's so like vanilla roads easy. That's easy racing surface. Love that. I don't build on them as much though.
right. Well, and building on vanilla roads makes it much more difficult to actually create a good custom route because there's only so much you can build. But yeah, I will say personally, I enjoy the asphalt and the racing surfaces, but I will take the racing surface and go from long ways, flip it sideways, and make that the width of the track instead of having it be the length of the track. Um, I I like to apply the 1.03 gravity increase because I have found, and a lot of other competitive racers have also found it as well, that increasing the gravity by 1.03% will give the platforms a um, slightly more vanilla road characteristic when it comes down to your grip. So, I mean, the vanilla roads definitely have the smoothest in elevation change, but just that option to be able to go in and race something that has a route that you've never done before, even if, you know, you've cruised every road in Forza Horizon 5, the route that you can just create in Event Lab opens up endless possibilities, and that's what I really enjoy.
Oh
Because
yeah,
again,
me
it goes
too
back
for
to
sure.
that creativity. So, and for me, I like to learn to adapt to uh, the uncertainty of the grip. Like for me, that's more fun in the racing, but I can see where competitively people want the consistency, so it makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
Heading into FH6. Uh, by the way, one way I've used to measure out like platforms and other things is take one of the cars that we get in game, um, measure get its real life measurement. So I'm looking at the game right now. Go find the um, Mercedes AMG 1, find its measurement of its length. Then when you go into Event Lab, you can kind of measure out the uh the platform or whatever it is you're using to the overall length of the car and get yourself an idea of um what your measurement is. Now, I use American feet instead of European meters, but you know, that's just me. But as we kind of getting ready to conclude our podcast here, FH6, one thing that has been confirmed, and this came in a interview between the developers and the magazine company that they were interviewing with, was what kind of roads are coming to FH6. And the game developers wrote that the roads we can expect will be very, very similar to the roads that we got in the Hot Wheels expansion pack for FH5 with the stacked level roading. So they said because of the density of Japan and the Japanese roads there, they are going to take the technology that they had from Hot Wheels and bring that into Horizon 6, but instead of obviously having a Hot Wheels track road, we would have, you know, the asphalts and stuff like that. With that, what is your guys' thought process? We don't know a lot of specific details of the game, so I get that. But from a creator's point of view, what is your guys' thought process going into 6, knowing that those are going to be some of the roads that we have? What kind of things are kind of like inspiring you at the moment for potential creations going into FH6?
I never used a Hot Wheels prefabs ever. Like, I, I'm not sure what to expect from that. Because when I think Hot Wheels, I think like driving up to down and crazy banking. So I'm not sure about that.
Well, I think what they meant by it is, you know how Hot Wheels has roads stacked on each other? Like there's different levels
Yeah,
of roads. I think
yeah.
that's
I'm thinking.
more
I
what
know
they
like
mean.
the elevated highways of Japan. That's like it. Now I'm
Uh,
thinking about that. So I'm thinking that they're telling us that they're having elevated highways in Japan, like they do, like something like C1 loop, or like I don't know what they have in Tokyo.
I'm looking forward to that. Tokyo City is what they're calling it.
Mm.
Asher, over to you.
I don't really know. Like, I'm excited for what's going to happen. I'm excited to see what the game's going to be like, and to experience some different types of road. Because I didn't race much on Hot Wheels, so I'm not 100% up to date with what the roads are like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be intrigued to see how that works and how
I
smooth it
personally,
is to drive.
go ahead.
That was it.
Oh, I personally am looking forward to see if the roads that we get in Japan are similar to the roads that we got in the um the dirt racing, or what was it, the rally expansion pack that we got in FH5. I think the roads in what is it, Sierra Narve, Sierra, Sierra,
Nevada.
something,
I don't know.
something Sierra something. Um, but the roads that we got there are, I think, the best roads that Forza Horizon has ever made in a game. They just keep everything tight to the car. You can you feel like you're in almost rally racing but on a road. So if we get anything similar to that in Japan, I think that's going to redefine Event Lab customization.
Yeah.
But
The road that they had, I seen the roads of that map. It was actually really like twisty and stuff, and actually like kind of thin, I guess. But like it was actually interesting road layouts than just like flat out sweepers and and like realistic type roads.
we got some good roads also on the mountain. The mountain gave us some good, uh, you know, toge style racing, but I also think they got a little too high speed. Toge was known as like you might get up to third gear, maybe fourth, depending upon your car, but the Toge was focused on the turns and the elevation that came from going up a mountain. And the Vulcan Sprint race, it is just too much high speed area that makes it less like a Toge race. So I'm hoping anything that goes up a mountain in Japan is going to have more shorter straights and more dynamic turns and precision and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
the more higher, like it just keeps getting faster. Like you kept going
mhm.
like I go through like 120 through a turn, like on top, like in an A class car. Like I can go 120 on like a couple of the turns at the top. Like that's, I mean, not toe game. It's pretty damn interesting, but like it's not what. I mean, I guess it's a Mexico street. It's not like Mexico. I don't know what type of roads they even have up a mountain. They're that fast. Like, they even have that type of road over there. Because I
I
hope they should not do it with Japan.
I I want to read what Ruins put up here real quick, and then I've got a few commenting remarks to make before we sign off for the evening. But the rally, Ruins said the rally DLC has the best roads, kind of what we will see in Japan FH6 most likely. Um, at least I think that. And yet they used Hot Wheels DLC as a learning step for flowing roads and stuff. Something doesn't seem to add up there. I'll agree with that. I think again, going back to what they were meaning when they were saying using Hot Wheels style roads was that stacking level. And we see that in Japan all the time. You see roads stacked on one another. You see underground roads. You see mid-level roads, high speed or highway roads. So I think that kind of stacked roads one over the other kind of concept is what they're going for FH6. But I hope that once you get out of Tokyo City, you get back into that kind of rally DLC style roads. Um, it does, it does. Yes, I love it. All right, so as we conclude up for the evening, Stray, thanks again for joining us to give your insight on, your track creation process. I think that's phenomenal information. Hopefully we have some viewers out there that after watching this maybe get inspired to go try and give a shot at building a track and utilizing some of the methods that you're talking about and get creative with props. Props don't necessarily have to be used for the exact thing that they look like they should be used for. I've seen the treasure chest be used to create windows as well, just flipping it sideways. So, get the world is yours to create with what you want. Um, and Basher, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on here. One of the original founding members of TBZ. It's always great to have you in here. So thank you
Well,
for
thank
joining us tonight. Uh, First things first, next week there will be no podcast. I will be out of town, so I won't have time to come back and get anything. So, with that being said, everybody who is stateside, have a wonderful. Oh, Dan, I see you there. I will get you in just a second. Um, Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday breaks. If you are not in the U.S. and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just the same. Have a happy Thanksgiving anyways. It's always great to be thankful. So, enjoy it. And then second thing, if you have looked at our YouTube page at all, there is a vote going on right now. I'm getting ready to drop a YouTube video that is going to focus on some of kind of like an FH6 wish list, if you will. And it's not going to be the same type of wish list that all the other content creators have been doing, such as like, what cars do you want to see? What races do you want to see? This is more about content that carries over from the older FH franchise games. So head on over there, check out the post, and comment something because I'm going to be going through those comments, and whichever one I feel is kind of the best, will get added as a extra um, on the video. I already have 5 points that I'm going to cover, but I'm going to add a surprise sixth one in there in the video. That's going to come from the community. So get on over to there, make your comments, and if it gets picked, it'll be shouted out in the video and briefly talked on. There's also a vote going on in the Discord, so if you're in the Discord, you can make your vote there as well. For the stream on Wednesday. The stream on Wednesday it's asking what vehicles do you want to race or put up against each other. So be sure to vote for that and feel free to join us on Wednesday. And finally, this week, um, we do have both Lumitrix and Dan the Man here in chat, but there will be qualifying opening up again for both the GR86 Cup and Racer Dan's Pro Stock Series. So if you are not signed up for that, feel free to get in here into the Discord and sign up to be a driver. We are only in round 3, so there is still plenty of racing to be had over the next couple of weeks. So get yourself signed up for some very fun custom tracks to be raced with the GR86 and the Pro Stock car. With all of that being said, let's see, Dan, you are muted, but I'm gonna go ahead and just open this up. You know, if you want to jump in here and just have conversation while I close out the stream, we found that a lot of people enjoy the music background with you guys talking over one another. Really seems to close out the stream very, very well. So I'm going to hand it over
Thank
to
you,
you
Joe.
guys. You guys close out the stream. You can talk about whatever you want. I do not care. I'm going to get our music up and going again. So,
Yep.
thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm going to mute my mic, but you guys go for it.
All right, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that we've got GR86 and the Pro Stock Cup coming up this weekend. GR86 will be going to Long Beach on Saturday, and the Pro Stock Cup will be headed to Phoenix. So we're having a little bit of a West Coast swing this week. If you guys want to sign up, keep an eye out for more information that will be coming over the next couple of days. We'll be posting our final results from our previous race in Pro Stock at... Where was it at last week? It was at Three Forests. So keep an eye out for that, for the updated point standings. And qualifying, like Kyle said, will be going live on Wednesday. Matrix, anything you want to say about GR86 Cup?
Feel free to talk over each other. I don't even care. It actually makes it more fun when you do.
I need to go practice for the VR86 Cup. I haven't done that in a week. I need to go practice for that right now.
Ruins, get on.
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Ruins, shit, hands. You guys are amazing. You guys would be awesome to like end out our stream. You guys talk mad crap. Oh, now
Anyway.
Cracks wants to show up.
Alright.
That's all I've got.
Cracks,
We'll
get in
see
here.
you guys later this week. Have a good
Cracks,
one,
get
guys.
in here. Get in here. Raise your hand. Get in here to close out our stream, buddy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Get in here.
So-
Close out our stream, guys.
Fuck you, Crux.
Alright. That's not why I invited that guy.
Alright, see ya.
Alright, I hope
Kidding me,
everyone
yeah.
who's watching enjoyed everything they talked about today. I hope they talked about some really entertaining stuff. With that, TBZ After Hours is done.
TBZ out.
What a way to close! What a way to close the podcast. I don't know what they were speaking about.
Shit is dying.
Good job.
He's dead. Oh my god. He's come down with the Black Plague. Really bad, apparently.
I don't even want to
He's
talk
not
about
doing
it.
so well after it.
It was absolute dog shit.
What race did shit have today?
That sums it up.
Yeah. That's
What
was
race
absolute.
did you have
sick.
today, shit?
That's it.
They were racing Sid and yeah, they got slammed on dirt. I mean, the road
I'm not
didn't.
racing.
The road actually didn't go that bad for them, but they had like a couple of incidents. Shit might get disqualified as well.
I don't even give a fuck. The fuck sick, dude. Just retards. Bunch of crying babies.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Ruins,
take
you
off
too,
that
man.
one.
You can join.
Fuck you, cracks.
You're always welcome, man. You're always welcome.
Yo, Kyle, you know, when you were on, like, on the angle, like, top of your camera, right? You were looking bald. I don't know. Oh, that's the light.
Because of
Okay.
the lighting. It's the light. Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
It's the
At least
light.
he's got consistent lighting, and like one half of his face isn't like black, and the other half is.
I have that picture. I have that picture.
Post that shit.
Let me find it. Let me find it.
Doing cheers.
Found it.
That's
What the fuck, man? Okay, man.
I go black. I go wild. What you want?
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.